All right. So I have loved the start of y'all's draft breakdowns. I have to admit, this is the player that I covet. And there was a time where I know he's a safety. I thought for sure he was a top 5 pick. I still think he should be a lock for a top 5 pick. I realize that is not necessarily how the NFL draft works and what they value. But when you see these mock drafts that say, Caleb Downs, maybe he could be pick 10, I'm like, we have to find a way to get him. But I wanted to see, what did the tape tell you guys? What did your breakdown tell you about Caleb Downs, the player, and the hype?
I texted you and Alec last night, and I said this is probably the most instinctual player I've ever watched. Like, this dude just, he knows what the game, how it's supposed to be played.
Okay.
And he sees the game before anybody else.
Yes.
He sees the play before anybody else. And one of the things, like, this dude has probably the fastest processor in all of football. And when I talk about that, it's, what do I see? How do I react? How do I recognize? How do I react to it? When you're processing, it's watch the Cowboys last year. Their processors were slow.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, Kenneth Murray would be getting pushed out of a play before he realized what was happening.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. You want to be the one that's on the other side, that you're making the other side look foolish because you've already figured out what's going on. And when I watch Caleb Downs, that's the first thing I noticed about him. It does not matter the size of the opponent. He is tackling you. It does not matter who you are. You are being tackled by him. You could be 6'5", 285 pounds. You will be tackled by him, and he uses low leverage to do that too. At 6 foot, he's not he's not a guy that plays very high. That's a great thing. He can play around the line. He can play. I want to see him do a little more deep stuff, but he's really good in coverage as well. He understands the game at the highest level. This is one thing that I will say is kind of a knock for him. You know how Diggs is a master at baiting?
All right.
By saying that, Kevin, what I mean is Diggs would, when he still had the catch-up speed.
No, I understand.
And Jerry talked about this. Jerry talked about this a lot because he was like, this is why we're going to move on from Diggs.
Right.
But he would say what his biggest tool was that he could sit just a little bit longer and make a quarterback think there's space.
Right.
And then, bam, he's on it because he had that catch-up speed. One of the things about Caleb Downs is he does kind of sit a little bit longer, and I would like him to be a little tighter with stuff. But that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to convince quarterbacks there's space to go here.
Okay.
He's violent and not reckless. There's some recklessness about his violence because he will go and try to make a big hit. He does make big hits.
Do you think that's built into being a violent player, to a certain level of maybe kind of sort of recklessness?
Yeah. It's he wants to make the big splashy hit, and he's probably going to do it, but sometimes that can get him in a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
So, but other than that, like, everything I saw about this kid is, let me restart here.
Oh.
From the 214. He has talked about safety all year long.
Oh, yes, that guy for sure.
I just want you to know, like, he has talked about safety all year long. And we didn't dismiss it because we agree. Safety is a problem for this team.
Yes.
Cowboys, since Roy Williams, haven't really, invested and loved it. They did a couple years while Dan Quinn was here with Hooker and Curse and Wilson. Like, we had a good trio. We had a three-headed monster there. And now the safety play is a little limited. This is one of those where you look back and you go, I'm not saying he's going to be Darren Woodson, but he is a Swiss Army knife that you can put all over the field. And that's the thing that what we saw yesterday. Bobby posted it, and it was Nate Newton saying, we didn't have to do these certain things because we had Darren Woodson. This is the kind of player, Kevin, that I believe if you are there and you can get him, you can do so many different things and just trust. I got him on the field. It's taken care of.
Now, Alec, we're going to get around to the part where I'm going to try to convince you guys that maybe if it's close enough, we can make a trade. I don't know how that's going to go. But yesterday, I said, I think this is the player who has the absolute highest floor in this NFL draft. What do you think about that statement? And then, can you give us your report?
It's true because his floor is a multi-year starter in the NFL.
Wow.
His ceiling is something crazy that I don't even know if I want to say on 100,000 watts. Because he could be that good one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I wrote down, Corey, about the violence, I put down controlled violence.
Yeah.
He is very specific with when he chooses to be as aggressive and as physical as he has shown multiple times. And the easy recent comparison for somebody that's still playing in the NFL that people can maybe go, okay, I understand what his versatility looks like is Kyle Hamilton. The way that he is able to line up at the line of scrimmage, the way that he can play almost as a stand-up linebacker at sometimes and drop back, or he can play a deep safety. He can play pretty much any position you ask him to in any sort of alignment. But on top of that, it's because of his movement. He has precision with his hips and his feet like a corner does. He can turn his hips quick, he can go laterally, and he can come down and play the run game. He can do anything that you ask him to do pretty much at this point. The only thing is, I wouldn't ask him to be a single high safety. He's played predominantly in two safety looks, which is fine. I think that's what you would be asking him to do no matter the defensive coordinator here. But the reason the idea of bringing him to this team here in Dallas makes me excited is because all the candidates that we're hearing a lot about for defensive coordinator, what are their backgrounds? DB coach, passing game coordinator, DB coach.
Yeah.
They specialize in working with defensive backs, and it feels like
this would be their field general.
This would be their field general. I mean, I bet there's more than enough teams out there that would put a green dot on his helmet. That would say, we trust him.
Yeah.
We trust him to make the call and get guys aligned in the right spot because he's not always going to be playing deep. He might be playing with the linebackers in that same level, 5 to 8 yards off the ball. So I think there's going to be teams that have this idea that he is going to be a true field general because he's just that good. The communication's great. The range is there. And like Corey said, the instincts. He's got like that Ed Reed kind of diagnosis to him. Whenever he sees the ball snap, he already knows what's coming most times.
Yeah, the other thing too, like when you see how he plays, it's the style in which teammates love, and teammates love him. Like that's the thing I know. He makes a tackle, everybody's on him, dude. They love how this dude hits. They want to be around him. Leadership is a plus also. But what Alec is saying here too is, that's the thing that they said about Darren Woodson, Kevin. It was because he could tackle at the linebacker position, cover, be a safety deep as well, because he could do all those things. You were able to build your defense correctly. You didn't have to say, well, I have to take him off the field for this instance to put in a nickel cornerback. No, just bring him down and let him do the coverage. So this now helps you disguise your defense even better because if you have a guy like this, you can move him in certain areas, and now you've confused a quarterback.
Now, we're going to continue to talk about this player, but we're going to expand the context of where you would be willing to take him because this is an issue that obviously the Cowboys don't talk about. I think we all understand why they don't talk about it. But from the 817, how about you move up by giving them your second? Now, there's more to the plan after that, but let's just stop right there. You don't have a second-round pick. You also don't have a third-round pick. Yeah. And that's one of the things. When the Cowboys talk about this plethora of draft picks they have, it is true.
They have premium.
Yeah, and having two first, if you look at the chart, the old one or the new one, it's better than having a first, second, and third. But the Cowboys act like they have two firsts and a second and a third and blah, blah, blah. And so that's the issue. If you're looking to make a move, like, for example, let's just say, and Corey, I don't think you're going to be in favor of this, but like, let's just say you wanted to try to move up from 12 to 10. You would have to give up probably next year's third because that's a proportionate amount of value that you would need to move up to those spots. And the reason why I said 10th is because yesterday Mel Kiper had Caleb Downs in his mock draft at 10. So that's just an issue that I have with the way the Cowboys talk about this draft. And that's where I find myself in a difficult decision to make up my mind, because I covet Caleb Downs. I really do. But this team...
As much as Cooper Flagg?
No, I mean, probably not.
Okay.
But
close.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I'm serious.
He's pretty high up on my list. Just because you've seen him be so good. Like elite, in an elite program at a continuously elite level. He might be the most pro-ready player.
And here's the other thing, dude. You want the best player at positions, right?
Sure.
On one of the sites that I go to get kind of like background information, because I want to know these dudes' stories too.
For sure.
Like, who are they? Oh yeah, his dad, former NFL running back. That kind of helps.
His brother. Yeah.
But they have their position rankings. The second-ranked safety is Kamari Ramsey out of USC. He has a score of 86.2.
Okay.
The third is Dylan Feynman out of Oregon. He has an 86. All right?
Yep.
0.2 difference
Gotcha.
in their score. Caleb Downs is a 92.
Oh, man.
Like
So he's only 30 times higher in the
his
gap.
separation between the next best safety is that different. So it's not like, hey, we're going to be fine if we just take the next guy. This is one of those where you're like, no, we got the best possible one we could get, and we moved on. Now, you came in this morning, and I was kind of doing some more of my notes and rewatching some of the stuff that I was looking at last night, going, did I really see this? Like, is this all real, or was I? And so you came in and you said, looking at my guy, huh? And I was like, yeah. And you said, ready to trade up for him? And I said, no. I don't want to trade up for him.
Is that because of the same basic idea?
I want him to land in our lap, and also we don't have the ability to do that.
See, and I'm with you on that, because the Cowboys, they're just not in a position to be trading away more picks, whether it's this year or this year you just don't really have the picks, but you don't want to start trading away picks for next year's draft because you have too many holes. So yes, we've already kind of kicked around the idea of trading down, and that makes a lot of sense given how many holes you have. If Caleb Downs is there at 12 and they don't draft him and we haven't found out some like shocking medical information about him, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. And I think you would have the right to be pissed there.
Alec, the trade as I have constructed it, you move up to 9 or more likely 10 and give up next year's third for Caleb Downs. You in or no?
I'm in for a couple different reasons. One, I always take the approach that I think a lot of people in the league do, that a next year's pick, you always just equate it to one round lower than this year.
Right.
So, if you're telling me it's technically in that thought process a first this year and a fourth, then I'm like, absolutely, he's worth those 2 picks. But I also think this team just hasn't been very good at drafting defenders lately. So if you tell me that I'm getting a surefire multi-year starter and a guy that is going to change the look of this defense for the foreseeable future, I'm in, because I know I'm not rolling the dice there. I'm not gambling. And that third round pick next year is not going to be anywhere near the player that he is. I would put money on that right now.
Yeah.
The one thing I think Alec said, and I'm sorry if you've already said this, the league doesn't value safety.
For sure.
You said that earlier. I think it was off air.
Yeah.
But he's dead on about that. So that could be the difference, is that a guy like that could slide no matter how talented he is because of that. Now we got to figure out who in front of you that is somebody that's like, that's the position we need and that's the player we want.
From the 216, y'all are funny. Cowboys take 2 offensive linemen in the first round, and we all know it. There is no chance in hell
I don't know,
that
man.
is going to happen.
I think they're right. That can definitely happen.
There is no chance in
Backup
hell
center at 20.
that is going to happen. No. All right. So the hierarchy, because a couple of people are like, well, if he's not available, who else are you looking at? Well, I feel like the way we started is 3 particular players that could be like sort of circulating around that number 12 pick. What is your hierarchy? Ignoring who's probably going to be there or not. Just the player you like the most.
Out of the 3 we've gone through so far, him.
And then?
Then I would take the linebacker.
Okay, then Styles, then Falk.
Yeah, so Ohio State mostly. Just whoever's at Ohio State, I'll take them. And then Falk. I like Falk.
Yeah.
It's just that these 2 players. I need the linebacker a little more, and in my opinion.
Yeah.
But a player like Downs, like that could change my team.
Alec, do you go Downs, Styles, Falk as well?
That exact order.
Okay.